Hey, this is Teddy Burris, your Google Workspace and Gmail strategist, trainer, and coach. Now, I got asked a really interesting question just now. And that is, how do I make a Google Forms page as a confessions page for my school? And I'm like, you know what? This would be a great time for me to show you the basics of creating a Google form in Google Workspace or Gmail. But before I do, hit that subscribe button because I have a whole lot more videos coming out on how to use Google Workspace and Gmail, and I'm doing these just for you. All right, how to make a Google form? Go to the 9 dots once you're logged into your Google Workspace or your Gmail account. And typically I do it from my Gmail page here or my Google Mail here. Go to the 9 dots, scroll down. You may see forms right here. If you don't see forms right here, then here's another way to get to it. Go to Drive. Let me go back up here to go to Drive. Let me make a new one, create a folder, Google Forms, stuff, create. Now go to Google Forms. So I'll put it where I want to put it. Now I can hit plus new, Google Form, and create a Google Form. Okay, so you can go take the tour and learn about it, which I would recommend you do, but I've done this enough. I don't need to do that. So I'm hitting no thanks. But you start with a name. Give it a name. Maybe give it a reason. Now, if you go up here and click on Untitled Form, after I give it the name there, it's going to pull that in, and that now is the title of the form. Now you start creating questions. Before I start creating the form, let me show you a few things about the form you need to understand. So your questions are the form. Responses are the responses you collect, and you can collect them in just in the form if you want to, or you can put them in a spreadsheet. And settings are just, some basics, and Google Workspace settings are going to be a little bit different than Gmail settings, but there's your settings there. You also have all kinds of options of changing your theme if you want to. You can preview it, undo what you did, go back forward. And this is where you send the form out either via email or link or embed it. And then the 3 dots let you make a copy, move it to trash, and the basics for you have on Drive. On the right here, these are the different components that you can put on a form page. If I hit the plus right here, that lets me add another question. Here's the different types of questions you have: short or paragraph, multiple choice, check, drop, file, upload, a linear scale, multiple choice grid, checkbox grid, date and time. So you have some beyond just basic questions. You have that's what the plus gives you. Additionally, you'll see if I add one, I don't want to add it, just hit the X and hit the delete button, hit that. Then you can see I can import questions. I can add text. I can add an image. I can embed a video. And this is the section tool, so you can create different sections, and based on the user's answers to specific questions, you can have the form automatically, based on the user's answers to specific questions, you can have them automatically jump to different sections of the form. And lastly, down here is duplicate a question, throw it in the trash. Required, which means they're going to have to select something or put something into this answer on the form. And the 3 dots lets me show the description, go to a section based on this answer, or shuffle the option order if they use multiple choice or check boxes. Now let's go ahead and hit the plus and start adding questions. And I can create a new question. Maybe I make it a short answer because I don't need a whole lot of text. If I want to, I can make this right here on the 3 dots. I can show the description. Now, if I don't want them to have to be forced to enter in a name, I won't make it required. But if I make it required, they've got to put something in there. So I'm going to not make it required because maybe they want to confess anonymously. Then I create another question. If I don't want this question down here, I'll click on this question here and hit the delete button, make it go away. So while my cursor's in this box, you know it's there because the blue line, hit plus. So I can give them the option to do So now I can get them to tell me, is it a federal crime, a state crime, school rules violation? Fix my grammar here, my spelling. Or other, and other, they have to put some text in when they choose other. Now this has to be required because we need to know that. So there's the first part of the question. Then I come down here and make another question. So I can have them make it a paragraph, which is way more than a short answer. And I can put a description, go to the three dots and do the description. Then I can go a little bit further if I want to. If I don't want that at the bottom, I can grab a hold of it and drag it up top here. Today, this week, this month, this year, other. Again, other, they have to give me more details. That needs to be required. So that's when this has happened. I want that to be required. I'll give another description. And then the last part of the confession would be, all right, so there we go. I just created a form called Teddy's High School Confession page. I'm going to change the name. Who are you? Encourage them to give us their name. What do you want to confess as a federal, state, or school violation? What's the specific confession? When did this happen? Who do you think was impacted? And will you be willing to discuss with authorities? Now I have the form created. So now I have to share this and make it accessible to others. By the way, if you're creating this in Gmail, it's totally accessible and public to everyone. If you're creating this in Google Workspace, then there's a settings option that allows you to make this only accessible to people in your domain or make it accessible to public. But again, I'm creating this in Gmail and it's totally public. So hit send. Now, I can send it as an email to someone, or I can embed it on a website if I want to, or I can get the URL right here, the link to it, make it short, and there's the link to it. Copy that. Now, wherever I put that link, it becomes accessible to others. I'll go do it in an incognito window. And here's the Google form for anyone to fill out to whatever degree they want to fill it out. And then it gets saved. Let me fill one out real quick and then submit. Now, if I go back to the Google form, which is right here, you'll see there's one response. So if I go view that response, you can see, I can see this, the summary information that was shared from this one response. But more importantly than that, check on this item right here, create the spreadsheet. So it creates a new spreadsheet, or I can open into an existing spreadsheet for all of the responses. So I'm going to do it, create a new one, hit create. Now when you hit create, it opens a spreadsheet, and there it is. On 12/12/2021, Teddy said he created a federal crime where he borrowed his neighbor's salt shaker and then sold it. Happened this week, the week of 12/12. And impacted his neighbor, and he's willing to talk about it with others. So that is the basic steps of creating a Google form in this context relevant to a school confession page. Again, all we have to do now is share the URL anywhere we want so that people can fill it out. I'm Teddy Burris, your Google Workspace and Gmail strategist, trainer, and coach. I hope this is helpful to you.